Welcome to Brunch with BBB, a podcast about real-life marketplace issues and trends that matter to both business owners and consumers in and around Eastern North Carolina. Each week, you're going to hear incredible conversations on some of the most challenging and important marketplace topics with perspectives from a variety of featured guests. So grab your coffee and get ready for an exciting conversation with your hosts, Luis Felice and Catherine Honeycutt of Better Business Bureau serving Eastern North Carolina.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Brunch with BBB. I am Luis Felice, and I have my lovely co-host with me, Catherine Honeycutt.
Hello.
So we're here to chat all about the month of love. As you know, this month is so difficult for many of you guys who are looking for love. But as finding love wasn't hard enough, right? Let's not even talk about dating or even finding love during a global pandemic. Guys, my respects to you out there. But as online dating and social media has made it easier than ever to meet new people, unfortunately, it has made work easier for scammers as well. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about romance scams and how to prevent scammers from stealing more than your heart this Valentine's Day. I know it sounds kind of corny, but it's so true. So you want to just be aware of everything that's going on. So most romance scams start with a fake profile on online dating sites. Catherine, take it over and tell our friends how this scam works.
Yeah, of course. So you join a dating app or you have your social media account, you start messaging a stranger, but something's different about this person, right? They seem to be the full package. You know what I'm talking about. They're beautiful, they're handsome, they're kind, but most of all, they are into you. Okay, they like you. And after chatting for a little while, your new love interest suggests that you chat on text or email rather than through the app. Doesn't seem like a big deal, right? And when you do this, you may notice that they also delete their dating profile. So you're thinking, okay, they're the best. They're into me. We start texting, emailing, and they took their profile down. So you think they're not chatting with anyone else. This is exclusive, right? Wrong. Okay. We'll come back to that in a minute, but everything seems great. Soon, your new love interest has some unusual, but seemingly harmless requests, okay? They're kind of weird, but you're like, we'll go with it, not too crazy. They want you to receive money for them. Okay, red flag. Totally. But anyway, you're blinded by love. They want you to wire money to them. They may claim to be helping a loved one, battling COVID, or working for a nonprofit, simply trying to receive some donations. Okay, so again, seemingly perfect. They do charity work. They're the good guys, right? No. If you refuse to help them out, they may suddenly get hostile. Okay, threatening you. But worst of all, when you're trying to find love, they grow distant. They stop responding to you. They leave you on red. Do you know what that means? They don't text you back. That's the worst feeling. But it gets worse. It turns out the money they want you to receive is actually stolen. They could have impersonated someone trying to claim, a refund check and what have you. And after stealing this money, the scammers send the money through someone, aka you, their love interest, in the United States to make it harder for authorities to trace this transaction. Money laundering and wire fraud are illegal, so red flag. And although the money mule, aka you, the love interest, is a victim, you could also face prosecution. So full circle here. You find someone who seems great online, full package, but then they try to get you to launder money and you're blinded by love. So you don't see it, you do it, you're embarrassed. And then we're left with, a broken heart and an empty wallet.
Oh my gosh. And that's not even the worst things. They say that victims in US and in Canada have reported losing nearly $1 billion. Guys, that's a lot of money over the last 3 years. And BBB estimates that there are more than 1 million victims in the US alone.
1 million people. Okay, wait. Let's break this down real quick.
Yeah.
We're looking for love online. Okay. There's 1 million people out there like you who are getting scammed by these romancers, and you could just fall in love with another victim, but instead you're falling in love with the scammers. So we know that the spread of online dating sites and apps, social media, all that good stuff has made romance scams even easier to commit because we're all online, we're all messaging. We all want to assume the best in people and assume that their profile is legitimate, right? But because most people, get embarrassed, they've fallen in love, they've fallen for this trap, they don't want to submit a report about these scams. They don't want to even admit that this happened to them. And so while, Louise, you mentioned the number of dollars lost and the number of victims, that could really just be the tip of the iceberg because a lot of people aren't sharing when this happens. So all that to be said, started off on a negative note. We're going to bring it back around for you guys. Okay. The good news is we have some good news. We have tips to help you avoid, these scammers and help you protect your heart and wallet this Valentine. So Louise, what's our first red flag?
So it's too hot to be true.
Oh,
right? Too hot to be true. That guy looks so good or that girl looks so good. It's like, whoa. And then scammers offer up good-looking photos and tales of financial success. If they seem too perfect, guess what, guys? Your alarm bell should start ringing.
Another red flag to look for is that they're in a hurry to get off the chat site. So if it's a dating app or social media, a lot of catfishers, which, okay, let's do a little jump in right here. A catfish is someone who's impersonating someone else. They are not real. They're catfishing you. They're tricking you. Don't believe them. But, okay, a catfisher will try to very quickly get you to move to communicating through an email, phone messenger, all that kind of stuff instead. For risk, maybe you'll find another profile that uses the same photos, or they can, be a little bit more personal with you and try and develop that relationship further and convince you that it's real.
Yeah. Just talking about that as well. Another red flag that you should watch out for is if they're moving way too fast. So typically a catfisher will start, speaking of the future, of your future together, marriages. They quickly say the word, I love you. And they often say they never felt this way before. So it's like The Bachelor. Oh my God.
Yes. And talking about moving too fast, let's talk about trust for a second. Okay. Catfishers will start manipulating you with trust talk. Have you ever heard of this? So in all reality, they're not truthful. They know they're a scammer. They know what their game is. They know how to play it. But they want you to think that you can trust them. And so they will start off by saying, trust is so important to me. Trust is the most important thing. But in reality, they know that they're duping you.
Guys, and check this out. If the person on the other side of the screen doesn't want to meet you in person, oh my gosh, you better run the other way. They really are not who they are. So check that out.
Yeah. And one thing to keep in mind is, during a pandemic, there's so many excuses they could use that I don't want to meet in person because of the pandemic. Well, what about video chat or other methods of communication? I realize some people may not want to meet in person. It's not necessarily safe right now to meet a stranger. But if they're really adamant about not FaceTiming or anything like that, that could be suspicious. But another red flag is suspect language. So this could be a couple different things. Okay, first of all, if they claim to be from your hometown, they're trying to connect dots with you, but maybe they're not really hitting the mark right. So maybe they talk about a local landmark, but they're not really making sense. They don't really know where things are located. Not to mention, maybe they have poor spelling, poor grammar. Their language is not right. It's not aligning with where you grew up or, what language you speak. So that could also be a really big red flag.
Definitely, guys. And the last one is hard luck stories.
Mm-hmm.
So before the scammer moves on to ask you for money, the scammer may, throw a little bit of hint here and there, saying they are having financial troubles. Like, for example, their heat cut off, or they got their car stolen, or they have a sick relative, or, they may even share a very, very sad story from their past, like their parents died or their spouse and etc. These are all the things that you should look out for. And once again, if you see these, guys, run the other way.
Yes. And don't be afraid to double check their profile. Look up the photos somewhere else, search their name and see if they pop up, see if you have mutual friends and all that stuff to try to connect the dots further. But some other things to keep in mind besides these red flags are to, first of all, never, let me repeat this again, never send money or personal information that can be used for identity theft to someone you've never met in person. So some of you might be asking, well, what's personal information? Because I want to tell them all about my dogs and my 7 cats. So personal information, here we go. Don't give out your social security number, your ID number, your driver's license, even that personal information that you think is, not a big deal, like your address, your birth date, all that stuff. Keep that private until you develop a more serious relationship, AKA meeting in person. This person, that's a little different. Never give them credit card information, especially if they try to convince you to book a trip. Yeah, no, don't give them your credit card information. And you just cut off contact with them as soon as they start asking you for information like credit cards, bank information, your ID number. No. You cut them off. Ghost them. That means you don't respond.
Yes, most definitely. And like Catherine, like you said, don't be afraid to ask specific questions about details that they give in their profile. So usually a scammer may stumble over remembering details or making a story fit. If they say, okay, I have a dog and he died at the age when I was 8 years old. And if they put that in their profile, make sure to ask, why did the dog die? How did it die? Where were you living? So once you hear the full story and you see that he's stumbling or she's stumbling a little bit, again, corran, run away.
Great point, Louise. And, this whole conversation was super fun to just give you guys some advice. But if you need a little bit more information about these romance scams, because you don't know whether to believe me and Louise, we sound crazy, we know, but we're telling you these scammers are crazier. So for additional information on this scam and others like it, please head over to bbb.org. You can read up about them. You can see what other, fellow romantics have submitted, and really take it to heart. So if you think that you've been a victim of this type of scam or any scam, or you're just curious to see what other people have reported as suspicious, head over to bbb.org/scam tracker. This is where you can report and research scams in your local area. Again, bbb.org/scam tracker. So, wow. What a great conversation, Louise. I know it was super fast. We were talking really fast today, but these scammers, they're going to move fast too. So you have to be one step ahead. So we hope that this will help any of those romantics out there trying to find love in the pandemic, avoid falling victim to these scams this love month. So thank you, Louise.
A pleasure, mi amiga.
Until next time, guys. Bye.
Adios. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Brunch with BBB.
We want to continue providing you with information that is valuable. So let us know what you think by taking a screenshot of this episode and sharing it to Instagram or Facebook and tagging us at BBB Eastern NC and sharing your favorite quote or takeaway from today's conversation.
You can also share your thoughts or topic ideas by direct messaging us on social media or sending us an email to info@raleigh.bbb.org. We can't wait to hear from you. But until next time, guys, adios.